What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I want to talk about the Chargers preseason, some takeaways that I have, positive and negative. I was very impressed with the preseason. Chargers don't play all their starters, if at all, in the preseason, so it's kind of hard to decipher what the team will look like. But some of these backups and these guys that played in the preseason look like they made the roster. Look like they'd be very, very talented players that could help this team this year and down the line. Couple questions I have for you guys is who impressed you on the Chargers for the preseason, who didn't impress you, and then what were your main takeaways from this preseason for the Chargers? I'm going to get into mine. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. We'll start with the offense. There was a lot of nice things that I saw from the offense in terms of some particular players, particularly the running game looked really, really good in this new Kellen Moore offense. The Elijah Dotson, Josh Kelley, and Isaiah Spiller trio was very, very effective with the ball. They averaged like 7.4 yards per carry on 48 attempts. Josh Kelley as the RB2 looked really, really nice. 75-yard house call against the San Francisco 49ers. Averaged 9.4 yards a carry. Like, that is a tremendous running, right? Obviously, the 75-yarder is going to inflate the number a little bit, but he was running effectively before that anyway. I thought Isaiah Spiller looked really, really shifty in space and had that breakaway gear that we were hoping that he would have. 4.5 yards a carry. He had a few big runs called back due to holding and stupid stuff like that, but he looked very, very good with the ball, made a lot of nice cuts, very, very effective as a runner. 4.5 yards a carry. I thought it was good on I think he had 15 carries or something like that. He was very, very good with the ball. And then Elijah Dotson was the preseason standout from the running back core because no one thought he'd come in and do this, right? He was the most effective runner of them all. And granted, he's playing against third stringers for the most part, but you got to be effective. He had 18 carries for 146 yards through his preseason. That's 8.11 yards per carry. That is very, very effective running no matter how you slice it. So I thought that, the running game for the Chargers the last several years has been terrible. This running game looked really, really impressive in preseason. This is without Austin Eckler, and yes, you're playing against a lot of 2s and 3s, but it looked good. In years past, it didn't look good. So I like what they got. Potentially, I think you got 4 running backs on this roster: Eckler, Kelley, Isaiah Spiller, and then Elijah Dotson. Mentioned him earlier a little bit, but Stone Smart as a tight end, I think he's probably the tight end 3 on this team. I think the Trey McKitty experiment has underwhelmed very, very well, or very, very badly, I should say, because, Trey McKitty, 2 catches for -3 yards, not very good in blocking. He's one of the people that I was underwhelmed with, but Stone Smart, on the other hand, I was very impressed with. Did very, very good on his route running. I like that a lot, and the run blocking was impressive as well. So I think, you got your tight end 3. It goes like Gerald Everett, Donald Parham, and then Stone Smart. So you got, I like what he did. I think he earned the spot for tight end 3. Think the Trey McKitty thing probably just cut it loose. Receivers, I was very, very impressed with Derius Davis, 4th-round pick out of TCU, I believe. He was lightning quick. The punt returning, the end arounds, the jet sweeps, whatever you want to call them, looked good. The route running was good. Made some nice catches. I think he had 5 catches for 45 yards. I liked what he did, especially in 2-minute drills. He was very, very good. And he gives the offense a different dynamic because he has that, that 4.3 speed, right? He can move. So I think having him is going to be very, very nice. The punt return, you guys saw it in the first preseason game, the house call touchdown, 80-something yards, whatever it was electric. The cutting, everything. He's got a lot of tools that are going to make him very, very valuable to an NFL offense. And I think he's going to be valuable, week 1, depending how they use him. He's going to have some plays that you can draw up for him that'll create some big plays for you. So I like what he did in preseason. He was one of my favorites. I will say one thing that really left me unimpressed was the quarterback play from the Chargers in the preseason. It was very, very mediocre at best. Easton Stick, 5 yards per attempt. That's not going to get it done. Max Duggan didn't really look all that good either. So the backup spot behind Herbert looks very, very shaky. So if something does happen to him, in most cases, anyone's team, if something happens to your starting quarterback, you're probably screwed. But they look like one of the more back-end quarterback rooms outside of Herbert. So I was not impressed with that, though, I will say. But defensively, there was a few players that did impress me a lot. Daiyan Henley, linebacker that was a converted wide receiver, switched him to linebacker in college. That dude has speed. He flies around the field. I loved what he did. Everywhere the ball was is where he was, and I like to see that out of a young linebacker. I liked what he did. He was just everywhere. He had the interception with a nice little return. Just anywhere the ball was is where Daiyan Henley was, and you want to see that out of a young, fast linebacker. So that's a good thing to see. Another guy with a very, very similar story, JT Woods. He didn't really play at all last year. His tackling looked improved. in this preseason. Yes, he did miss some, but the rate that he was performing the tackles was very, very good, very, very improved. Flying around the field, breaking up passes. I liked what JT Woods did. I think him being like the third safety on the team is a good look. Derwin James, Alohi Gilman, and then JT Woods slipping in there. I like it. The speed is something between Henley and Woods that this defense really, really lacked. So they need that. If they get that, that's going to be very, very helpful to stopping big plays and, just killing drives before they even get started. So I liked those two the most on the defense. And then the third guy that I think really stood out to me, pass rusher, linebacker, whatever position you're going to slot him at, the Tuipolotu. I'm trying to say that correctly. I know I'm probably doing it wrong, but he looked very, very good as a pass rusher. He was in the backfield often. I liked what he did. A couple big tackles for loss. Those were nice. You want to see that out of a guy's second-round pick, especially when they didn't really have a lot of pass rush behind. Joey Bosa was injured for most of last year, but behind Khalil Mack and him, you get another pass rusher that hopefully can provide some QB pressures. You can maybe get a couple sacks here and there. Second round pick, I like what he did in the preseason. Makes me very, very excited for what Brandon Staley will be able to use with him when he's on the field with a Joey Bosa and a Khalil Mack. The matchup nightmares look good. I thought Chris Rump looked very, very good as well, especially that Rams game. It was all over Stetson Bennett. I like what he did, the pass rush sacks that were there. I like seeing him, along with Thule. I think those two are kind of competing for a similar role, but it's good because that's, iron sharpens iron. And the last guy, I'm like kind of an honorable mention that I was impressed with. I liked Quentin Johnston, first round pick. There's a lot of hype and everything going into him, but realistically, he's probably the wide receiver 3 or 4 on the team. Josh Palmer's going to be making plays. Keenan Allen's going to be making plays. Mike Williams is going to be making plays. But Quentin, the biggest thing with him is the drops, right? He had a couple drops. It happens. But a question mark coming on to him when he came into the league was his route running. And I thought his route running was crisp. I thought he had really good cuts. The touchdown that he scored against the Rams was just diced him up. Easy touchdown. Stick fired it in there. But, he's made some plays here and there. The route running was what I was really, really impressed with. He did make some nice catches as well. So, hopefully the drops don't become like a bigger issue. But I did like what I saw from Quentin. I'm not going to be negative on him. It's, he's getting the ball thrown to him by Easton Stick and Max Duggan. Like, that's not going to be the case when he's in the NFL with Justin Herbert. It's going to be a lot different. He's going to put the ball in windows that those guys aren't going to be able to get to. So he's going to get more opportunity like that. I liked what Quentin did. Overall, the Chargers, like I said earlier, their team, it's hard to decipher because they don't play any starters in the preseason. I wish they would. Staley doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to risk injury, but, I would like to see him get out there for a series or two, just kind of knock some rust off real quick, get hit. I think things like that are important, but, Staley doesn't do that. So deciphering the defense and the offense and the special teams, I think ultimately they got a lot of good players that are coming on that are going to make this 53-man roster. I think they're a little bit deeper than they were last year, a little bit younger too, so I think they have a little bit more athleticism, some speed. Kind of changes their team dynamic. Guys like Derius Davis, JT Woods, Daiyan Henley, those dudes are going to make day one impact if they're given the opportunity this season. So I'm excited. We don't know what these guys are going to look like with the starters out there, of course, but these guys I think were very, very impressive. And the running game, that was one thing I was ecstatic about because Justin Herbert, you got to give this guy a running game for the first time. Imagine being a defense that doesn't have to worry about just Herbert throwing the ball. And now you got to worry about the guys that he's handing it off to. That sounds like a lot of fun for Chargers fans. So all in all, who impressed you the most? Who didn't impress you? Like I said, I wasn't impressed with the quarterback room, but I did like the running game. I did like some of what the receivers were doing. Defensive line, the pass rush, some safeties. Kind of liked what I saw there, the tight ends. It was a very, very nice preseason. I thought that they played well in all 3 games. They played well in different areas in all 3 games, so that was kind of good to see. Special teams look good. Defense looked good pretty much the entire preseason, I would say. Offense kind of up and down, but, like I said, starters weren't even playing. Superstar quarterback wasn't playing, so it is what it is. But who impressed you? Who didn't impress you, like I said? And then who was your preseason MVP? I'd say Daiyan Henley was mine. But anywho, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But shout out to Chargers preseason. Very, very nice one. I liked it. Week 1, it can't come fast enough. So I'm excited. But thanks for watching. Peace.